Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Lunalight Yugioh deck profile for post the February 2022 ban list. With the release of the latest ban list, we got Lunalight Tiger to 1 on the latest list. A big help for sure for the Lunalight deck. It had a lot of power at the time, and Tiger was just such a strong card in the deck, being able to just reuse its special summon power very, very frequently for its destruction capabilities and special summon power. But with it at 1, we at least have, I would say, a little stronger of an option for the Lunalight deck in total. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Lunalight monsters, like I said, the card is back at 1. Lunalight Tiger being a scale 5 monster. Once per turn, you can target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but cannot attack. Its effects are negated and also destroyed during the end phase. So you have that special summon option with the pendulum scale, and if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Lunalight Tiger once per turn. So all these special summon capabilities are very, very useful in the Lunalight deck, especially with the pendulum scale just being a soft once per turn. So you can just have the option to then bounce your Tiger, activate it again, and then special summon another resource for a Lunalight monster from your graveyard back onto the field. For the other pendulum monster, I run 2 Lunalight Wolf. This is more of your Miracle Fusion card in the deck, with its pendulum effect being you cannot pendulum summon except for Lunalight monsters. This effect cannot be negated, and once per turn, you can fusion summon one Lunalight Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion material listed on it from your field or graveyard. So with it, you have a Miracle Fusion like card being able to give you those fusion options, which the other ones are your Lunalight Fusion and also Polymerization. I only run 2 Lunalight Wolf though. I feel it's all you need. Otherwise, you're just getting multiples of this card that can't really be used aside from using your other Lunalight monsters for those resources for the summon. For some of the other higher number effect monsters in the deck, I run 3 Lunalight Kaleido. Aside from Lunalight Tiger, this is probably one of the best Lunalights in the deck. Once per turn, you can send one Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. The name of this face-up card on the field is treated as that sent monsters, and if this card is used as fusion material and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one Polymerization in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect of Lunalight Kaleido once per turn, and if this card's banished, you can activate the effect this turn. Your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. So when you have your Lunalight monster attack during the battle phase, having your opponent not be able to activate any card effects when this card is attacking is very, very scary, depending on what Lunalight monster you may have out, but it can definitely be the OTK potential you need with those powerhouse fusion monsters to go up against your opponent. And the banish options for cards like Lunalight Wolf just make it that much easier. For the other 3 that I run in the deck, I also run 3 Lunalight Black Sheep. You can discard this card to activate one of these effects. You can add one Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand, except for Black Sheep, or you can add one Polymerization from your deck to your hand. So whether it's the recycle power for your Lunalights or the Polymerization search, this definitely does come in handy. And if it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material for the fusion summon, you can add to your hand one face-up Lunalight Pendulum monster from your extra deck, or one from your graveyard, except for Black Sheep. All of these recycle powers, whether it be for your scales or your many different monsters, it'll definitely come in handy for adding those resources and then using it for a fusion summon. For some of the lower numbers, I also run 2 Lunalight Yellow Marten. If this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can target one Lunalight card you control, except for Yellow Marten. Return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add one Lunalight Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. So being able to add your Lunalight Fusion to your hand gives you a big boost in power, but also being an easy level 4 to special summon can give you resources to then exceed summon into cards like Lunalight Forstrix, Raid Raptor Forstrix, which can then be used to summon out cards like Zephyros the Elite, which have the bounce power from the graveyard to recycle your Lunalight Tiger on the field back to your hand to reuse again. I also run 2 Lunalight Emerald Bird. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Lunalight card from your hand to the graveyard to draw one card. And if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one of your level 4 lower Lunalight monsters that is banished in your graveyard, except for Emerald Bird, and special summon it. So your banished resources, especially with cards like Kaleido, can be back on the field that much more easily. Special summoning other resources like Yellow Marten, overlaying into the same play I spoke of before. Lower numbers also 2 Lunalight White Rabbit. When this card is normal summon, you can target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, except for White Rabbit. Special summon it. It gives you the resources on the field for your fusion plays, but also having a spell or trap bounce effect up to the number of other Lunalight cards you control means you can clear out your opponent's back row and then go for the big fusion plays you want to conduct on that turn without any fear of your opponent activating anything in response to those monster effects. For the rest of the Lunalight monsters, I run one Lunalight Crimson Fox, more of an option for your OTK potential, being able to reduce the attack of one of your opponent's monsters by 0, and then having cards like Cat Dancer, which can attack multiple times, into those monsters to deal the massive damage against them, is why I like running this card for those options. Blue Cat for more special summoning, and also one Purple Butterfly for the special summon from the hand capabilities. You only really need one ofs for all these for the setup of these cards and being able to be sent to the graveyard by other Lunalight cards. I really feel it's all you need. The other bigger numbers are much more important in the deck. For the other main deck monsters, I run one Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. This has already been spoken of with the Raid Raptor Force Strix, special summoning it, and then having the play for you to then add the card to your hand with your Force Strix, giving you the setup power with your Zephyros the Elite to then summon it out and then give you the graveyard play of special summoning it on the field by bouncing another face-up card on the field. And then lastly, the 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, just the hand trap of choice. It shuts down anything your opponent may try to do or send to the graveyard. It doesn't really conflict with anything in the Lunalight deck. There's no restrictions on card effects that can be activated, so perfect 3-0 for the hand traps. And that is it for the monsters. Moving on now to the spells. I would say this fusion spell is definitely much better than Polymerization, that's why I'm running this card at 3, and that is Lunalight Fusion. You fusion summon one Lunalight Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. If your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use one Lunalight monster in your deck or extra deck as fusion material. So some of the requirements for Panther Dancer and also Leo Dancer need one of the other Lunalight monsters, so being able to use that resource in turn makes it that much easier to use this card, but also just being able to send any of the Lunalight resources from your deck to the graveyard also gives you easier access to those 1-ofs that I spoke of before with this 3-of fusion spell. I also run 3 Lunalight Perfume. Remember, this card is Lunalight. It's not a Lunalight monster card that can be sent. I said monster, but spell. So it can't be used for the send since it's 2 separate words, but you can target one Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Now you can banish this card from your graveyard, then discard one card to add one Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. More search power for the 1-ofs, and this card is not a once per turn. So if you have multiple copies of Perfume, you can activate and use all of the different effects of it also. For some of the lower numbers for the spells, I also run 2 Polymerization. This card is searchable with Black Sheep, that's why I'm only running 2 of it. I found multiple copies of this card was definitely a dead draw. It can also be recycled with Kaleido Chick. So I really feel 2 is all you need. Lunalight Fusion is definitely the better fusion spell to rely on. And if you don't have that or Polymerization, you always have the Lunalight Wolf option. There are plenty of fusion answers available to you in this deck to use. I also run 2 Foolish Burial Goods. This is to set up Perfume in the graveyard, and you also have the option with some of your other spells in the deck for your cards like Lunalight Serenade Dance, which we get to when we go over the traps. And for the 1-ofs, I run 1 Fire Formation Tenki. This card's at 1 on the list thanks to Tri Brigade. So the other Beast Warrior decks have to suffer sadly as well. But I am running 1 Pot of Desires. Aside from the potential to hit Lunalight Tiger, there's a good number of cards that if you banish them, you can still utilize the different plays the Lunalight deck is meant to do. And it just helps with that draw power. Also 1 Call by the Grave to finish off the 1-ofs for the spells. And for the traps, I run 2 Lunalight Serenade Dance. When a fusion monster is fusion summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters, apply this effect in sequence. You special summon 1 Lunalight token, or that target gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. So this is just a great way to power up those Lunalight monsters that may be attacking into your opponent's monsters, but the better play comes in the form of the banish. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. If you do special summon 1 Lunalight monster from your deck, you can use this effect of Serenade Dance once per turn. So this is the Foolish Burial Good target that definitely does come in handy, being able to give you that Lunalight resource you need for the special summon. And then for the rest of the main deck, just 3 Infinite Impermanents. It's just the, I would say, trap of choice to stop my opponent's card effects, just like how Ash Blossom can, with the potential if your opponent goes first to stop any plays they have, and then utilize that monster on the field that had its effect negated that maybe had to stay on the field by swinging into it with your Lunalight monsters. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the Extra deck, I run 2 a Lunalight Cat Dancer. You need 2 Lunalight monsters to make it, so definitely one of the easiest fusions to make in the deck, especially with the Lunalight Fusion spell. And also, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn during your main phase, you can tribute one other Lunalight monster, and for the first time, each time this card battles an opponent's monster, would be destroyed by battle, is not destroyed, and it can attack all monsters your opponent controls. So reducing some of them with Red Fox to 0 means it can swing into it, deal that damage, swing into it again. Cards like Lunalight Serenade, powering it up, could be the potential, depending on how many monsters your opponent have, to just swing into those monsters twice and be enough damage for game. I also run 2 Saber Dancer, one of the stronger Lunalight monsters. It needs 3 Lunalight monsters to make it, but having 3,000 attack and also gaining 200 attack for each Beast Warrior monster that's banished or in the graveyard. And your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and during the main phase, except the turn was sent to the graveyard, you can banish that card from your graveyard, then target one fusion monster you control, and it gains 3,000 attack, being another power option for your other Lunalight fusions you may get out. For the one-ofs for the fusions, I run 1 Panther Dancer and 1 Leo Dancer. They're more specific with the card effects, but they can also be used for the requirements for the Lunalight fusion, sending your Cat Dancer with fusion to the graveyard to count as the cost for Panther Dancer, or if you want to summon out Leo Dancer, sending the Panther Dancer. All easier depending on what fusion you want. For some more generics, I also run 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. You just need 2 dark monsters on the field except for tokens. It's good with polymerization as an option to then just get rid of your other opponent's monsters. And for the Xyz monsters, we spoke about the Raid Raptor Forstrix, or how I called it earlier, Lunalight Forstrix. Search power for your Zephyros the Elite to then detach 1 to add 1 Dark Wing Beast type monster from your deck to your hand. And also 1 Abyss Dweller, just shutting down your opponent's graveyard play is very, very useful and very easily done with all the level 4 Lunalight monsters that can just special summon each other out as resources. For the Link monsters, I'm very surprised they didn't do anything with Vert Anaconda on the ban list, but still here to stay and here to be used for the fusion plays for many other decks. 1 Underclock Taker for more attack lowering of your opponent's monsters, and then being able to use cards like Cat Dancer to swing over them. 1 Firefighting Darumidol. I don't use it as much, but it's another resource with the Beast Warrior monster power boost. 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice for the Dark Attribute boost, and then also 1 Nightmare Phoenix and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. I don't run any Link 4s in the deck. I just feel you don't need them as much for the plays, since you can just fully rely on your Lunalight fusions as your main offensive play against your opponent. As for the go-to plays, having Tiger back, like I said, definitely does give us the option for the bounce. The only big part of it is we're only relying on 1 resource now, so being able to at least special summon it out with some of the other Lunalight cards like Serenade or Perfume will be your first go-to play, because you want to definitely get this card out as quickly as you can to then use for either the option for the destruction or the setup in the scale to use other Lunalight cards, whether it be cards like your Black Sheep that you send to the graveyard for the special summon back on the field for you to then use, and then having Tiger to bounce with cards like Zephyros the Elite, using it again, giving you another special summon also. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll definitely be updating a lot of different cards from the ban list. There are a lot of decks that were affected by this one for sure, I'd say. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.